Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I apologize if the lighting in here is really bad. It is a miserable rainy day outside, the perfect day to just stay home and read and not go anywhere. But today in this video, we are going to be talking about my second round of 5-star predictions. It feels like it's been an eternity since I did a 5-star predictions video, so before we get to my new picks, I'm going to go over the books from my last video and what I ended up rating them, because I have had so many new subscribers since then. I'm sure a majority of you did not watch that video. I actually only ended up giving one book from that video 5 stars, though all of them I enjoyed to varying degrees. First, hot take, I almost dropped it. I gave 3 stars to The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. Really interesting concept, amazing first line. However, this book was not as thrilling as I thought it was going to be, and I really did not enjoy the romantic plot. I thought it was unnecessary and not interesting. Then, My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. I gave this either 3 or 3.5 stars. If I did give it 3, I think it should have been 3.5. This is the second book in the My Lady Janies series, and it's based off of Jane Eyre. Overall, I thought this was really fun, but I didn't like some of the certain choices the authors made or how they changed the original Jane Eyre story. Then, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This was 4 stars for me, and honestly, maybe it should have been 5 because this is one of my favorite classics that I've read. I definitely think it would make my top 10. However, while I was reading this, I saw a spoiler for this book on Twitter because somebody was responding to the Goodreads account on Twitter and they spoiled the book with no warning, and I think that did lessen my reading experience because I was so upset that I got spoiled. But overall, this is a really good book. It is a classic thriller, and I do love this edition. I think it is so pretty. Then, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, a super hyped dark academia book. I gave this one 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's a new all-time favorite, but it was a really good read. And the one book from my first 5-star predictions video that I actually gave 5 stars was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was amazing. It is one of my all-time favorite books now, and I really should reread it at some point because I loved it so much. It actually made me cry towards the end, and that never happens to me. If you have not read this book, go read it. It's definitely worth the hype. Everybody on BookTube talks about how great this book is, and it did not disappoint me. It was amazing. And this is going to be a perfect transition for the first of my new 5-star predictions, because that book is Malibu Rising, also by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I pre-ordered this book and I am super excited to have it in my hands when it comes out in June. The anticipation is killing me. I've seen some booktubers who received an ARC and I am so jealous. I am fully expecting to love this book because obviously Evelyn Hugo I gave 5 stars, one of my all-time favorites, and Daisy Jones and the Six, also by Taylor Jenkins Reid, I also gave 5 stars. Even though I did not love it as much as I loved Evelyn Hugo, it was still amazing. So I have very high hopes for Malibu Rising when this comes out very soon. This book takes place in an interconnected universe with Daisy Jones and the Six and The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It takes place in, I think, the 1970s in Malibu during the era of surf culture, and it follows the 4 Riva siblings. They are the children of Mick Riva, who is mentioned in both Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. He is a famous singer and one of Evelyn Hugo's 7 husbands. Malibu Rising follows the 4 Riva siblings, Nina, Jay, Hud, and Kit, They are having a party at their Malibu home, and by the end of the night, secrets will be revealed and the house will go up in flames. Super excited for this one. I can't wait to read it, and I hope that I will love it as much as I loved Taylor Jenkins Reid's previous books. So the rest of these 5-star predictions are going to be books from my physical TBR, and I think pretty much all of them are books that I got in recent hauls, so I'm sorry if this is super repetitive. It's just these are books that I'm genuinely really excited for. The next book I want to talk about in this video is 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. This is a feminist reimagining of the story of the Trojan War, and I have heard so many positive reviews for this book. I would not say that I'm a mythology expert by any means, but I am interested in it. I've really enjoyed learning stories from Greek mythology, and I am interested in learning about other different mythologies. At the time that I'm filming this video, I'm currently reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and I haven't picked it up in a little while because I just haven't been in a reading mood recently, but I am going to get back to that. And Circe by Madeline Miller is one of my favorite books possibly of all time, so after hearing so much praise for this book, I am very excited to pick it up in the coming months. And if I love it, Natalie Haynes has some other mythology books, The Children of Jocasta and Pandora's Jar, so if I love this, like I am thinking I will, then there's more Natalie Haynes books for me to pick up. It says on the back, "This was never the story of one woman or two, it was the story of all of them." I am so excited to pick this up, and I also just think it's a beautiful book. I know I said that in my haul as well, but I love this cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. My next 5-star prediction is The Lost Orphan by Stacey Halls. This is a historical fiction set in Georgian-era London, and this first entered my radar because I saw it on April from Getting Hygge With It's channel. I saw her talk about how much she loved this book, and it sounded really interesting to me. This follows a woman named Bess, and several years ago, Bess gave birth to an illegitimate daughter who she placed in a foundling hospital. Now, years later, she comes back to reclaim her daughter. However, when she arrives, she finds out that somebody else claiming to be the mother already came and got her daughter, so she doesn't know who took her child or why. I do enjoy a good historical fiction, and it is interesting to me that this book also seems to have some elements of mystery, and that is why I am so excited to pick it up. I think I will really enjoy this. Speaking of mystery, I wanted to put at least one thriller on this list because I really love mysteries and thrillers. That's my favorite genre. I wasn't exactly sure what thriller I should pick, though. I do feel like it's hard for me to give a thriller 5 stars because I read so many that I can usually figure out what's going to happen, and therefore I'm a little bit hard to impress. I'm a tough critic, I guess. But the one that I ended up putting on here is a thriller that I have heard so many positive reviews about, and that is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. Every review I've seen of this book has talked about how amazing it is, so I'm really intrigued to see what it's all about. Our main character, Claire, is the wife of a politician, but what nobody knows is that behind closed doors, her husband is abusive. She makes plans to flee her life and finally get away from her abusive marriage. At the airport, she meets another woman named Eva, and Eva also seems like she wants to disappear from her life. Impulsively, the two women decide they're going to switch plane tickets, but then the plane that Eva is on, the one that Claire should have been on, crashes, and everyone believes that Claire is dead, not knowing she actually wasn't on the plane. Now Claire is trapped in Eva's life, not sure what to do next, and she finds out that Eva may have had some dark secrets she wanted to keep hidden. Inside it says, "Two women, 2 flights, 1 last chance to disappear. I am excited for this, and I also really appreciate that the dedication is for all women who have come forward with their stories of abuse and sexual assault, which I really appreciate because it is very important to respect survivors of abuse and sexual assault. So I am excited to pick up this book and see what happens. And the final 5-star prediction I want to talk about in this video is The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow. If you watch my channel regularly, you know that I am a huge Jane Austen fan, and Pride and Prejudice is my absolute favorite book of all time. I have read it 4 times, and I am constantly fighting the urge to reread it again. I have heard so many positive reviews for this book. It follows Mary Bennet, and it chronicles, I believe, the events of Pride and Prejudice, and then it also continues on after the novel ends, following Mary as she finds her own happily ever after. I am really excited for this. I've heard people say that it really captures Jane Austen's voice and does the character of Mary justice after how long she has been overlooked. The only sort of complaint, if you would call it that I've heard about this book is that Jane and Elizabeth don't always come off the best, which is a little jarring considering they are the 2 heroines of Pride and Prejudice. And listen, I know that we all stan Lizzie Bennet. She's a queen. However, this is Mary's story, and I can understand why she wouldn't always have the most positive feelings towards her family. When you think about it, in Pride and Prejudice, we have Elizabeth and Jane, who are very close. Then we have Kitty and Lydia, who are very close. And then we have Mary, who is left out from everything, and her parents show blatant favoritism to her other sisters, so I think it would be unrealistic if there wasn't a bit of resentment there, considering Mary has pretty much always been excluded, intentionally or not, her entire life. So I am excited to see how the dynamics of the Bennet family will be depicted in this book. This is over 600 pages. It's big, so it will be a serious undertaking, but I am excited to read it. Maybe during Jane Austen July I will get to this. So these are my new 5-star predictions, these 4 plus Malibu Rising. Let me know in the comment section, have you read any of the books that I mentioned in this video? And if so, what did you think of them? Please give this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every single Wednesday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an immaculate rest of your day. Bye, and I hope to see you in the next video.